Hey, welcome back to JG3 Reviews. Today, I have a fountain pen review that I want to share with you, and it might be a little bit shorter than usual. This is the Ohto Tasche, and it is a good little pocket fountain pen. And if, like me, maybe you have some pockets in your shirts that are not really long enough for a full-length fountain pen. I don't know why that is. What is the point of the pocket if it doesn't fit a pen? I don't know. But they're making them like that. So every now and then that's an issue. Or maybe you just want to put it into your jeans pocket or something. I don't know. But whatever your reason for needing a shorter pen, this one may be able to fill that very small need. Let's take a look at the Ohto Tasche. All right, so today we're looking at the Ohto Tasche small pocket fountain pen. And it is, again, a plastic pen with a very long cap, that's from here to here, and a very short barrel, that's from there to there. And a good metal clip, good and strong. And it's a very functional, simple design with just, you can get this in several colors, black, silver, blue, I think red. I'll put a picture up there. But you can get it in several colors that will suit your taste. It's, again, functional and minimal is the way this pen is going to go. So that is true of the finial at the top of the cap. That is true of the end of the barrel. Just very, very simple. Not a lot to tell you about there. You will notice, and other reviewers have said the same thing, I noticed before I bought this pen, that the writing on the barrel tends to wear off. And you can see that mine's starting to, but not too bad. But I just kind of expect that to slowly wear away. The rest of the pen is holding up with use like just fine. No problems whatsoever. So, typical black plastic bodied fountain pen in every other way. But that may wear off in time. Now, about that long cap. When you take this cap off, let me focus the camera there. When you take this cap off, you will notice a very long grip section for such a short body. And it, of course, is plastic as well. And let's go ahead and look at the nib. When you look at the nib, it will seem very familiar. Now, mine does not actually say Germany on it, but it looks like an IPG nib. Other reviewers did say Iridium Point, Germany. So unless they've just changed suppliers, I'm going to assume that that's what this probably still is. It just looks all too familiar. It has a plastic... Wow, a plastic feed. I just lost my vocabulary altogether there. It's been a week. But very good fine point nib. I will show you in the writing test. I like how the pen writes. And that's, of course, I don't care how well it fits in a pocket if it doesn't write very well. So that's always good. It uses standard international short cartridges. This is the one... probably that came with it. I may have refilled it, and that's what I would recommend you do if you're somebody that a cartridge with no converter is a deal breaker. Well, this one can't have a converter. It's just you see the barrel of the pen. It simply isn't going to happen. But with all that, you can get an ink syringe, and if you don't know how to refill a cartridge, it's very, very simple. You probably know how to, you just don't know how to. But you can look at our beginner's guide to filling a fountain pen with ink, and you'll see how to do that. Very, very simple process. But I would put my own ink, and I will put my own ink in this cartridge either again or next time, depending on what I did the last time, because I honestly don't remember. But very simple process to do. Now, when you post the cap, look at this. It actually becomes a full-size fountain pen. It is a little bit narrow. This pen actually reminds me a lot, once you have it posted, it reminds me a lot of the Bauer 801, which is kind of a slightly narrower version of a Parker Vector. And that pen I really liked, and it writes well, but my wife took it. And this pen feels and writes almost exactly the same. And so it's a great alternative. I know in the comment last week about a Moon Man pen, somebody mentioned they're trying to avoid buying from China, and that's a personal choice. But if you are, this is a good alternative to that Bauer 801. It's going to cost you a little bit more, but it's Japanese quality and all that good stuff, and might not have some of the reasons that you might be changing where you buy certain things, whatever those reasons may be. But this pen is a really good pen, and so then it becomes very comfortable. Now, without it, let me show you. Without it, not even a golf pencil, right? So it just absolutely, for me anyway, and I think probably most people, gonna be fairly unusable. But once you have that cap posted, this is a full-size fountain pen, so it's great that way. If you don't like pocket pens because they're too short, this would be the pocket pen possibly for you. But now, let's look at that all-important question of, how does the pen actually write? Okay, so let's take a look at the writing of the Ohto Tasche. This is, again, a fine point, and I think it writes, this is kind of unusual, actually, and maybe that's because it is an IPG nib, so it's a little bit to the thicker of fine instead of the thin. I would actually put it a fine to a medium compared to some of my other pens that are similar, and I don't say that ever as a negative, just kind of my reading for where it is. And then this is, I don't remember. This is just a black ink. And it writes really quite smoothly. A little wet. And I couldn't tell you, since I don't remember what ink is in it, I can't tell you if that's more wet for the pen or for the ink. It's always a function of both, but you notice it's not oversaturated. Again, a function of both. And let's see here. Even though this is a thinner pen than I usually like, it's very comfortable in hand, writes well, is smooth. And so I like it. It makes it a pocket pen that you actually can do more with than simply write a few notes here and there. I can write with this comfortably for quite a long time. Maybe not as long as a pen that would be a little bit thicker. I tend to be able to write longer if it's that way, but really, I find it a very comfortable pen. It may be surprisingly so. That's the same way, though. I said that this writes similarly to the Bauer 801, and that pen surprised me too. And I think part of it, what it was, is both of them write so well that you don't mind writing with it as long, even though it's a narrower pen. Just generally, I don't like that as much. But with this, I like it. I mentioned before, when it is capped, it's a pen. It's a fountain pen. It's a full-size pen. And not at all do you feel like you're using some tiny little pen. And so that's its biggest selling point, but it writes well enough that it shouldn't be the only selling point. This is actually just a good pen. At least that's been my experience. I have had really nothing. I don't think there's anything I would say about this pen that is negative. Thinner than my preference is not a negative. This wearing off, I guess that is. I really prefer that would not happen, but it does. But if that's the only problem I've got with this pen, then I really don't have a problem with this pen at all. I mentioned I would show you size comparison. So here is familiar here anyway, the Moonman 80 Mini, which is a Parker, I can't say the word tonight, a Parker 45 styled pen. There is the Kaweco Sport, which normally looks small, but next to the Ohto looks quite tiny. But we'll fix that. because here we have, for no good reason whatsoever, it's not a normal comparison at all, but we have the Zebra mechanical pencil that is said to be the tiniest mechanical pencil in the world. And I just think it's awesome. I just told you I don't normally like writing with anything thin. That's a blast. But we'll save that for another review, because actually I do intend to share with you some mechanical pencils here fairly soon. But this one, it brings a smile on my face. It's just so silly. And yet, well, does it work or does it not work? I'll let you know when I review it. Little sneak peek. But really cool little pen. And so is the Ohto Tasche. It's just a great little, Honda Civic of a pen. It's tiny, but you get a lot for the tininess. God bless you. Have a great week. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I hope that you're all doing very well.